Elon Musk has just made one of the most shocking and harsh statements against the Labour government that has ever been heard. The situation for Keir Starmer looks just catastrophic, as if the earth is collapsing under his feet. What happened? How could Musk undermine the foundations of British politics by making everyone talk about himself? Stay tuned, because this is not just a clash of two personalities. This is a real battle in which the government loses control and the public begins to lose faith in their leaders. Now, you'll see what happens when a billionaire tech mogul gets into a fight with a political giant.
Yeah, the question is why politics now and versus in the past. I really have not been meaningfully involved in politics. So the reason is that I think we're at a crossroads. This time I think we're at a crossroads, a fork in the road of destiny.
Against the background of economic chaos and social unrest, Elon Musk decisively entered the arena, openly opposing the Labour government and targeting the administration of Keir Starmer. Musk was not going to stay in the shadows. He has a vivid and uncompromising opinion on how Britain handles important issues, such as freedom of speech and government regulation. This is especially true for social networks such as X, formerly known as Twitter, where every post can cause a storm of emotions and discussions. Musk is not afraid to challenge and make everyone think about the future of freedom of speech in the country.
The owner of X, Elon Musk, has been tweeting over the past few days about your response to this crisis, about what's been going on. He's claimed that civil war in the UK is inevitable. He is a powerful voice. A lot of people follow him on Twitter. Are you worried about his impact, or might he have a point about some of the things he's saying?
My focus is on ensuring that our communities are safe. That is my sole focus. And I think it's very important for us all to support the police in what they're doing. I went up to Southport to speak to some of the police who had been the first responders to the terrible attack that happened. They described the scene to me and what they had to deal with when those girls were attacked.
Musk's outspokenness on social media often turned into a double blow, but this time it was absolutely clear he did not intend to back down. When the UK government decided to restrict X's activities, accusing him of spreading disinformation and malicious content, Musk responded with a tweet that simply amazed many. In his powerful message, he stated that if the government wants to control X, it needs to explain its actions. It was not mine. These words were not just an answer, but a real challenge. Musk, known for his uncompromising fight for freedom of speech, was not going to let the British government dictate how his platform should work. He stands up for the principles that he considers the most important and is ready to fight for them to the end.
Those same officers were then attacked on their own streets later the same day. The same officers who had been the first responders. Our first duty is to support the police in a difficult exercise that they are engaged in, keeping us safe.
What's your message to Elon Musk?
Our first duty has to be to our communities to keep them safe. That is my sole focus. The police are doing a difficult job in difficult circumstances, and I think that everybody should be given their full support to ensure that we can make sure that our streets are safe and our communities feel safe and secure. That is really where the focus ought to be. That is my...
Musk's message was absolutely clear and loud. He would not allow the UK government to stifle voices on the internet, regardless of any consequences. Musk's tweet was not just an attack on the Starmer administration. It was a powerful and bold criticism of the political arbitrariness that threatens us all, especially when it comes to online platforms that give us the opportunity to have an open and honest dialogue. Musk, like no one else, understands how important freedom of speech is in a democratic society, and he is ready to fight for it.
Well, Elon Musk is certainly not intimidated. He continues to speak out, particularly on what's happening in the UK right now, much to the frustration of the elites. It all started when Elon Musk said that what we're seeing with rioting in the UK was inevitable and that civil war is probably likely because of unchecked immigration. For that, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, the Justice Minister, they all attacked Elon Musk and said he should pull his head in, but he hasn't. Have a look at some of the stuff he's been posting just recently. He posted this image of 3 people convicted of different crimes but got vastly different punishments. I think we've got the image ready to show you. Here we go. On the left, you've got someone Musk says made a racist comment, got 15 weeks jail. In the middle, someone who sold anti-immigration stickers and for that got 24 months in prison. And on the far right, someone who repeatedly raped a 12-year-old girl and got a 2-year suspended sentence doing 180 hours community service with no prison time, asking what the hell is going on.
He talks about a deep problem keeping the internet free from the stifling control of the state. Elon Musk's tweet caused a real storm of emotions in society. British citizens have been fighting hard for years against a government that seems to care more about restricting their freedoms than protecting them. Musk did not stop there. He boldly continued his criticism, accusing the British government of suppressing the very freedoms that once put this country on a pedestal of greatness.
This sort of magic portal into the Twitter system, but all of the communication in that in this portal was auto-deleted after 2 weeks, which breaks federal FOIA laws. So we don't even know what was said because it was all deleted after 2 weeks.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. It's so crazy that people thought that was okay.
It's not super not okay.
No, it's super not okay. It's unconstitutional, and no one would want that. No one would want the government to have that kind of access.
Exactly.
Musk's words became a powerful call to unite those who feel that Keir Starmer and his team are completely disconnected from the real needs of the people. As soon as Musk's tweet came to light, the political atmosphere in the UK instantly heated up. Keir Starmer, who had been working hard for months to restore the image of the Labour Party, suddenly found himself in a situation where it had to retreat and defend itself.
Whatever the apparent motivation, this is not protest, it is pure violence, and we will not tolerate attacks on mosques or our Muslim communities. So the full force of the law will be visited on all those who are identified as having taken part in these activities.
Musk's criticism was not just an attack on Labour politics, it was a real attack on the leadership of Keir Starmer himself. Musk's next move was to sharply and mercilessly criticise Labour's economic policies, especially their approach to taxes. He was not shy in his expressions, and boldly tweeted that the introduction of taxes on family farms is not a progressive measure, but an outright theft from those who built this country with their own hands. This tweet was a powerful response to the Labour Party's proposal to increase inheritance tax rates, which many rural voters believe will have a disproportionately strong impact on them. Musk raised an important issue that touched people's hearts and made them think about justice.
This is the weird thing. It's like the left used to be big on exposing government corruption, but once they control the government, they no longer want to expose the government corruption.
Right. They want to pretend that the left-wing government's incapable of corruption because we're on the good side.
I think it may be just like, whoever's in power kind of doesn't want the other side heard. Because as you pointed out, like the left, historically, up until, I don't know, maybe even 10 years ago or something like that, was the free speech party. And now it's the anti-free speech party.
This tweet caused a real storm of emotions all over the country. Farmers and business owners did not stand aside and actively used social media to vent their frustration, and Musk, in turn, supported them by retweeting their stories. This was not just a criticism of politics, it became a powerful cry of the soul for workers who felt that their own government was simply ignoring their needs and sufferings. Musk acted as a defender of the forgotten men and women, those who created Britain from scratch with their own hands, and it was inspiring.
Oh, well, we have to be against hate speech and misinformation, disinformation. But these are propaganda words. It's like, well, who's defining hate speech? Who's defining misinformation? The government? Do you really trust the government to make
Right.
that definition? The whole point of the of the First Amendment is like, you do not trust the government.
Well, especially when they're wrong, and
Yes,
then there's
and
no
it was lies.
repercussions.
Yes.
Yeah, like with the whole lab leak theory, if you would get kicked off of YouTube if you even presented this argument that, hey, maybe that coronavirus lab where they're doing work on the exact same virus that got released.
He did not skimp on harsh criticism of Starmer's leadership style. In his opinion, Starmer's constant reaction to crises, instead of anticipating them, makes him absolutely unsuitable for governing a country that is experiencing such serious upheavals. In his tweet, Musk furiously noted that Starmer only reacts to problems without taking the initiative. A leader should be someone who anticipates difficulties and takes action in advance rather than waiting for the situation to get out of control and turn into a real disaster.
And said, what right does this guy have to speak to our Prime Minister?
It is extraordinary for the boss of a big US tech firm to be publicly confronting the British Prime Minister like this over home affairs issues. You know, it's difficult to imagine Apple's Tim Cook or Meta's Mark Zuckerberg doing something similar. And what we've seen Musk do is he hasn't directly incited violence. He didn't explode like we might see Donald Trump do, but he didn't call for calm either. And lots of people are saying that because he's so influential, that his actions are potentially quite dangerous. What he did, as we've just heard, is to echo arguments that we've seen from the far right, including claims that there's a two-tier policing system in the UK and that immigrant criminals are treated less harshly.
So, what can we learn from this? Elon Musk's involvement in UK politics is not just a temporary phenomenon, it is a wake-up call for the entire political establishment. It shows how a single tweet can shake the foundations of a government, question the legitimacy of a political leader, and ignite a national debate about leadership, free speech, and economic issues. Musk's criticism, although harsh and straightforward, revealed the most important truths about the state of our country that cannot be ignored. If Britain really wants to move forward, it needs leaders who not only respond to challenges, but also act proactively. Those who are able to anticipate the needs of the people, solve the problems, and most importantly, restore confidence in the political process. Keir Starmer has a choice. He can heed the lessons outlined in Musk's tweets or continue the path of stagnation and disunity. But now the stakes are higher than ever. What do you think about this video? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you.